As a left-leaning populist, I do not have anything in common with right-leaning populists. Now, I do share some criticisms with right-leaning populists, and I've noticed this because I talk with right-leaning populists all the time. They're fascists. Fascists. They're fascists.
The fascist, huh? We're gonna do something that we don't do very often on this channel. We're gonna set politics aside. It's time for some good old-fashioned, no-holds-barred internet drama. So as I'm sure that you're all aware, I did a video debunking Vaush's worker co-ops. In that video, I admitted I was not familiar with all of Vaush's studies. What I had ended up doing was researching worker co-ops at the library. I ended up learning that most of the worker co-ops that exist today were created by fascists. The majority of research that exists on the subject of worker co-ops focuses on the Basque town of Mondragon in Spain. Why did fascists create worker co-ops? They wanted to destroy working class identities in order to prevent socialists from rising up. Making workers and the partial owners accomplish this goal. I then laid out numerous studies that indicated that most workers in co-ops were less satisfied with their jobs than those who worked in the private sector. Now, someone commented on the video who I strongly suspect of being Vaush using an alt account. Either that or he or she must be a high-ranking Vaush capo. I say this because the commenter not only defended Vaush's studies, which are based on research entirely separate from Mondragon, but this same commenter also tried to shame me for the amount of time I put into conducting the research for that video. Now, to someone like Vaush, the prospect of doing something like reading a book is unfathomable. It reminds me of how he was utterly bewildered that Sargon of Akkad would post a comment in the YouTube comment section.
And I'm going down. You know, I'm just having a good old time. Guys, I've got some spare time. I can take time to look at comments. And, whoa. Who's that? Is that none other than 1 million subscriber YouTube dumbfuck Sargon of Akkad posting in the YouTube comments? I clicked. It's actually him. No lie. Look at this. I never post in YouTube comments. I have to say, I'm a little bit bewildered, personally. I don't know what would drive a man. I mean, Sargon of Akkad is quite popular and quite wealthy. I don't know what would bring him to make such a decision, but he went ahead and made it.
Well, Vaush, I'm not ashamed of reading. I don't lay awake at night bothered by the fact that my library card is well worn. I don't base my morality or my personal self-worth in how much of my life is devoted to consuming mass-produced dopamine-generating garbage. I enjoy putting in the hard work, engaging seriously with political ideas, and getting things right. Rather than being ashamed of that, I'm proud of myself. I believe that my 14-minute-long worker co-op video provides more genuine and interesting informative content on worker co-ops than all of the 3-hour debates and live streams you've done combined. Vaush does not read books. Anyone who watches enough Vaush would know this. Vaush prefers to shoot from the hip rather than engage deeply with his political ideas. Let me explain to everyone why Vaush is a fake intellectual. Number 1. Vaush's studies are crowdsourced. He gathers them together in what he dubs his research document. This document is 18 pages long and contains an average of 3 to 4 studies per page. Number 2. Vaush breaks down each study into a 1 to 2 sentence long political talking point. He can then easily use these studies to shoot from the hip during a political debate. Number 3. While debating, Vaush makes an empirical claim that he backs up by saying that he has voluminous amounts of data and studies supporting his position. In reality, he has a couple of studies that he's reduced down to 1 sentence long talking points. Number 4. Vaush reminds me of a book I read called The 4-Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss. Timothy Ferriss was a guy who created his own company. His company sells an herbal supplement that supposedly increases your concentration. Ferriss then sought to reduce how much work he had to put in as the owner of the company until he had to work only 4 hours a week. Number 5. In one part of the book, Ferriss provides an outline of how you can become a bullshit expert on any given subject. If you're a would-be entrepreneur looking to sell some sort of questionable product, it is quite useful to be able to pretend that you're some sort of an expert. Number 6. I believe that Vaush uses the same methods described by Ferriss to portray himself as some sort of well-researched intellectual. The reality is, though, is that it's all astroturfed. Now, you may be thinking that's all just speculation. The prosecutor doesn't have any actual evidence of this. Wrong. I have definitive proof that Vaush is a liar. He is a coward who is absolutely terrified of me. I have actual proof Vaush is an outright intellectual fraud. Number 1. In my co-op video, I didn't have Vaush's sources. This was a huge mistake on my part. I should have had those before doing my research. Number 2. After posting my video, I received emails from several people. Those people told me that Vaush had previously posted a research document which listed all of his worker co-op studies. He did so following his debate with iHypocrite. Number 3. People have since sent me Vaush's current research document. Strangely though, all of the worker co-op studies have magically disappeared. It appears that Vaush must have hired BleachBit to wipe that shit cleaner than they did Hillary Clinton's email server. Number 4. Vaush would have gotten away with it. That is, if it weren't for that pesky prosecution channel. Using the Wayback Machine, I retrieved an archive of Vaush's research document. Guess what? Number 5. All of the studies use the Basque nationalists of Mondragon as their source. Vaush wiped his research document because it definitively proved that his studies are all based on fascist white nationalists. I was 100% right. Number 6. What does this mean? It means that Vaush watched my video. It means he agreed with what I said about worker co-ops. It means he wiped his research because he is either afraid of me or he knows his studies are wrong. This, of course, means that Vaush is either a coward or an intellectual fraud, or both. Now, according to Greek legend, the king of Thebes, Laius, fathered a son named Oedipus. The Oracle of Delphi told King Laius that Oedipus would end up murdering him and cuckolding him with Oedipus's own mother. As a result of this prophecy, King Laius told a servant to kill Oedipus by abandoning him on a mountain. Not wanting to do something as gruesome as kill an innocent baby, the servant gave Oedipus to a shepherd. Oedipus was raised by his adopted parents. As an adult traveling for business, Oedipus unknowingly encountered his father, King Laius, on the road. After a dispute over who had the right of way, Oedipus murdered King Laius. Upon reaching Thebes, Oedipus was offered the opportunity to marry the widowed queen. This was, unknown to him, his own mother. Just like King Laius, Vaush's attempts to prevent the inevitable has only created a pathway towards its fulfillment. Vaush must debate me because he specifically tried to avoid doing so. He did this because he's terrified of me. Share the shit out of this video. I deserve a debate with Vaush after this. I, at the very least, demand an explanation for this sort of dishonest behavior. This is the most pathetic thing that I've seen when it comes to YouTube politics. Now, normally is the time that I ask you to support small YouTube channels by subscribing to this channel. But you know what? Fuck that. Share the shit out of this video. Expose Vaush. He's a fraud and he needs to debate me. I'm done playing games and dealing with all the petty bullshit. There's not enough Windex and bleach in the world to erase this YouTube channel.